guys, and welcome to my channel. For those of you who are new here, I'm Samantha. For those of you who aren't new here, I'm still Samantha, but welcome to this video. Today I'm making a video all about my MEPS experience and taking the ASVAB. So I get this question asked from y'all all the time, like, make a video about this, and the reason I've been pushing off is because I don't really remember a whole lot about it. So I went through, I made a list, so that way I could like remember the process, just because it's been about a year and a half since I went to MEPS. I went in August of 2016. So yeah, so just a little background about me. So I am in the National Guard. I'm 19 years old. I'm currently in technical training, and yeah, kind of the basics. No, I'm not active duty. I'm in the National Guard. I am going home after this. But yeah, those of you coming to Goodfellow, it's a great time out here. Love it. I got out of class really early today, so I was like, you know what? I am gonna push off running for as long as I can because it is my run day and I don't really want to go on a run. So I was like, oh yes, okay, I'm just gonna make a YouTube video. And also, I get a lot of questions about this rope that I wear. So I am a member of the Students Against Sexual Harassment program on base, which they have at most AETC bases, which is like a training base. So there's different ropes. So there's like green ropes, yellow ropes, and red ropes, which are like airman leaders. And then I'm a teal rope, so I'm just a member of the SARC program, which is the sexual assault. So that is what this rope means that I wear. So MEPS and the ASVAB. So I'm going to start with the ASVAB. So I know a lot of people take the ASVAB at their high school. I took the ASVAB at MEPS. I went to MEPS on a Wednesday, I think. I don't know. I'm probably just making that up. I really don't know. Okay, we'll go with Wednesday. Let's say I went on a Wednesday. So they have a bus that could come, or a van or something. And I'm just telling you, this is my experience as a Guards member. I honestly don't really know how it is for active duty. I would assume it's kind of similar, but I don't really know. So the nearest MEPS was 3 hours away from where I live. So they said that I would just go to the recruiter's office and they would take me to MEPS in a van, and I would stay in a hotel, and then they'd bring me back the next day. So my dad brought me down instead of me taking the van, which was totally cool with me. So we drove up to Kansas City and stayed in a hotel. We went straight to the MEPS station, and I took the ASVAB that night. So what day did I go to MEPS? Wednesday, I think that's what we said. So I got to MEPS, and you get there and they do like some sort of in-processing thing, I guess. I don't really remember. I just remember that you can't have any sort of metal or anything like that. So I had to like take all my earrings and everything out. And then you go back to this area and you take the ASVAB. So I took the ASVAB on the computer, and if I recall, it took like 3 hours, and there was like an additional test that I had to take. It was like a personality thing. I don't really remember, but I got my scores immediately. So to prepare for the ASVAB, I did study. I know a lot of people are like, oh, you don't need to study, whatever. Like, there were specific jobs that I wanted, and I was like, I need to get a high enough score to qualify for these jobs. So I took practice tests. I bought a study book on Amazon. It was honestly probably like $8, $10, something like that. And I used that just because I knew absolutely nothing about the ASVAB. And so I was like, well, why not buy a book to help me out? And so I took practice test, and I just kind of read through that book just to kind of figure out what different things were going to be on the test. So when I took the test, I got my score immediately after taking the test. Like, I literally finished and it printed off, and I went over there and they gave me my score. So that was pretty cool. I don't think I looked at it immediately. I think I waited until I was back with my dad to look at it, just because I was like super nervous. But yeah, that's how that went down. So I finished the ASVAB, and then I left. We went to the hotel, checked in and everything. It was the same hotel that people were staying at who were also going to MEPS, so there was like a lot of people who were interested in joining the military who were there. And there was like a little area, I guess, like a lounge for those people to go. So if you are riding the bus down there, like, I'm pretty sure you go and like check in there or something like that. This is just how it was at my station. I don't know how it is everywhere else. So I got to chill for the rest of the night, whatever. And then the next day, my dad just took me over there. It was like 5 in the morning, 5:30, something like that. It's pretty early, so you eat breakfast before. Our hotel had breakfast super early just specifically for that, which was really awesome. So we were all in this room when we got there, and I think they had like additional food, like if you hadn't eaten or anything like that. And then they pass out, they go through and like call everyone's names, something like that, pass out folders, I think. And then you go out to this main area and they split you up by branch, and then you get something from like each different branch. So it's not just Air Force people who will be there, it'll be all the branches. They split you up by branch to give you the paperwork, but then you're with everyone for like the rest of the day. Like you're not just with Air Force people. There was one other girl who was Air Force, and it was funny because she was actually in the guard, like at my guard base. So that was pretty cool. So then after you get your paperwork or whatever, you go through and you'll fill out your medical questionnaire again. So before you go to MEPS, you will fill out medical information with your recruiter just to kind of figure out if there's things that like automatically disqualify you. So it's kind of a waste of time to go to MEPS, I guess. So you go through and do that again and like verify everything. So do not change your stuff that you put. MEPS is there to disqualify you. I know it sounds kind of harsh, whatever, but literally MEPS is the process of like weeding people out. So don't give them a reason to cut you out if it's not like a valid reason, if that makes sense. So what I tell a lot of you guys, like, yes, we all get headaches, we all whatever, like, but if you don't have like a medical problem to where like I don't know, I'm not telling you guys to like go live, absolutely do not do that whatsoever. I'm just saying, like, don't make some of the like normal problems, like I get a cold every once in a while or I sneeze sometimes, like don't be like, oh yeah, I have allergies, blah blah blah. Like don't do that. If you have like a serious medical problem, disclose that. Like you need to disclose that information. But I'm just saying, don't make regular everyday things a problem if they don't need to be. I hope that makes sense. I hope cleared that up. That's what I tell you guys whenever you message me. So that is, yes, that is my biggest tip for MEPS. Okay, anyways, back to MEPS. Then they breathalyze you, which is kind of weird to me because I'm like, bro, it's like 6 o'clock in the morning right now and you're breathalyzing us? Like, I hope no one came here intoxicated, but I don't know, people are crazy. So they breathalyze you and then you like, oh, and then they, okay, I remember this. After they breathalyze you, they're like, does anyone have to go to the bathroom? And so those people went and did the pee test like immediately. And so I'm sure you know this by now, but whenever you do an Air Force or military drug test, whatever it is, someone will watch you pee. So that's why they only picked the people who had to pee like immediately to go first. So then after that, they went out there and they split you up into the different like medical examination parts. So I did have to pee, so I went and did the pee test first, but then they had different like waiting areas, I guess, and you do a vision test, a hearing test, and then they also draw your blood. Okay, so I'm just gonna go in the order of like how I did things. So I go back and do the pee test. So it's just like a normal bathroom, like there's like 3 or 4 stalls or something like that, but then there's a window. So there's a window and then there's like all these medical people on the other side of this window. And you have like your little cup and you just go in there and do your business, but you don't shut the door and there's someone right there watching you. And then after you go up to the window and you give them your pee, and then they give you like something else, and then you go around back into that medical area, and that's when they drew my blood. So I am a total wimp when it comes to needles, like total wimp. I don't know how I gave blood. Like I gave blood when I was here, and I don't know how because I am so terrified of needles. Okay, so I know I don't remember a lot about MEPS, but I remember this part. So we go back there, I like sit on the little medical bed table thingy, whatever it's called, and I'm like freaking out. I'm like, okay, Sam, come on, you can do this. Don't be a little. I was just like freaking out, and then I hear Justin Bieber playing in the background. They had like a little stereo back there. And I don't remember what song it was. I just remember that it was Justin Bieber. I was like, okay, just focus on Justin Bieber. So I was just like singing the song in my head. And what I always tell people before I get any sort of blood drawn or I get shots or give blood, anything like that, I'm like, because usually, you know, they tell you like, okay, I'm doing this and this and this. I'm like, hey, I really appreciate you like telling me what's going on, but I would really appreciate it if you just didn't tell me what you were doing. Just do what you gotta do, and I'm not gonna pay attention. I'm totally fine. I don't like to know what's going on. So I tell my person who is doing that, you know, don't tell me what's going on, focus on the Justin Bieber, and I was just fine. So after that, I went out and I sat in the area waiting to do my vision test. So this isn't like the exact order, like you could do it in any sort of order. Everyone's just kind of out there. It's all in like the exact same area. So for the vision test, you want to do your best. Like, I know a lot of the times with these tests, they're like, okay, yeah, this is dumb. But like your vision and your hearing and all that kind of stuff can either disqualify you or qualify you for jobs. So for my job personally, I know a lot of people get disqualified just because they don't have any depth perception, which is something that they test on. So you want to make sure that you're like trying your best, just because you don't want to be disqualified from a job that you wanted just because you like didn't really give a crap about the vision test or the hearing test or anything like that. And then same thing with the hearing, you go and you go in this room. It's like one of the soundproof boxes, and you put on the big funky headphones, and then you hold a little clicker, and then they play noises in your ear, and you just click when you hear them, something like that. So then after that, I went and sat in this other area and waited in line to talk to a doctor one-on-one. So you have like your folder and everything, and you get over there, you're talking to the doctor, and they're just going over all of your medical stuff. Same thing, you don't want to change your answers, especially from what you put that morning. You don't want to be like, well, actually, like, don't do that. Put what you put and stick to it. Like, don't go and be changing everything. Yeah, so then they go through and like ask you all these questions or whatever, and then you read this like story thing just to make sure that, you know, you don't have any like speech problems or anything like that. Then they split you up to males and females. So after everyone finishes, you like go in this room and you wait for all the females, and you're just like chilling in there. And then once all the females get in there, this nurse came in and told us to strip down. And I'm like, whoa, okay, this is gonna be weird. So make sure that you don't wear nothing, no crazy underwear, no crazy bra, because you will be basically naked in front of all these people that you don't know. But you better get used to it, because that's what you gotta do at basic, except you are completely naked. So you keep your bra and your underwear on, so, you know, don't be wearing a thong or anything like that. Like, be conservative, like, don't be wearing anything crazy. And they'll go and they'll weigh you and measure you and blah blah blah, tell you if you're like underweight, overweight, if you're good or anything like that. We had a doctor come in. It was a female doctor, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was a female. It was definitely a female. And we line up, and then there's like a television screen, and it plays like all these different movements that we're about to have to do. So you do all this stuff in front of the doctor, and they just go around and like make sure basically that your body works properly. So you'll have to like twist your wrist, you like touch your toes, and then the really weird thing, you have to do the duck walk in your underwear and bra in front of everyone, and it's kind of weird. So I know for a lot of people this may not bug you, but I'm not one that feels super comfortable just like being very exposed in front of these people that I don't know. Like, it's just kind of weird to me, but you know, whatever, you gotta do it, you gotta suck it up, and it's okay, you're never gonna see these people again. So you do that. It's kind of weird. They walk around, make sure everything's good, and that's basically it for that part. So then after that, you put on like this gown thing, and you have a one-on-one with the doctor again, except this time they're like checking out your body parts. I don't really remember exactly what they did, I'm not gonna lie. I just remember they check you out, so be prepared for that. And then after that, active duty, I know what you guys do is completely different, but for me, I went and I had to do like a hang clean with like, it wasn't like a barbell, but it was like weird, I don't know. And then I had to like lift the weight above my head. It wasn't like dumbbells or anything like that. It was like a machine, just because depending on how much you can lift will also disqualify you for certain jobs or allow you to do certain jobs. So yeah, so I did that, and then I'm pretty sure they like gave me a list of, or something of like the jobs that I could do. And here's another big thing. Active duty people, you swear in at MEPS. Guard people, you do not swear in at MEPS. I do not care what none of those active duty people say. You will not be swearing in. My recruiter told me this multiple times before I went. I'm like, okay, got it, cool. I get there, and he was so right. All these freaking active duty people are trying to tell me that I'm gonna swear in. I'm like, no, I'm not. I swear to God. Do not let them get in your head. They don't know what they are talking about. What you do is completely different than what active duty does at MEPS. So then after that, that was basically it. I don't really remember what happened after that. I think I went home. Yeah. But active duty people, you do swear in. Another thing, you will go to MEPS twice if you were active duty, one time if you were in the Guard. So active duty people, you go to MEPS before you ship out. I'm not really sure what goes on there. I don't know. I'm not active duty. But I left like from the airport that's like by my house, flew out. I didn't have to go to MEPS again. So I don't really know how that works. It's my two biggest tips, one for the ASVAB and one for MEPS. First thing, for taking the ASVAB, study. If there is like a specific job you want, like you get to take this test to determine your career. I don't care if you're Guard or active duty, like whatever you're doing, this is your job, like this is your future. So if you want to do well, take it seriously. Like go buy a study book, take practice tests online. If you don't want to buy a study book, there's plenty of free resources online, so take advantage of them. You get to take this test one time when you're at MEPS to pick your job, so take it seriously. Study for 30 minutes, like study on the bus ride over there. I don't care. Like I'm just saying that studying really helped me, and I don't know. I'm not saying that people who don't study like don't score well. I'm just saying that like I studied and I feel like it personally benefited me a lot. So that's my tip for that. As for MEPS, do not self-diagnose yourself with different medical problems. And by that I mean, if you sneeze every couple days or couple weeks or whatever when everyone else does, don't be like, oh, I have these allergies and blah blah blah. If you get the occasional headache because maybe you knocked your head on the wall while you were sleeping, I did that last night and it hurt really bad. Anyways, don't be like, oh yeah, I have these super bad migraines, I have horrible head problems, like blah blah blah. Don't self-diagnose yourself. But with that, if you do have a serious medical problem, make sure you tell them. Okay, so I think that's everything that I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that it was helpful. I'm sorry that I don't remember as much as I wish I did about MEPS and taking the ASVAB, but I hope this was helpful. Thank you guys so much for checking out my channel and checking out this video. And if you are leaving to go to MEPS soon or taking the ASVAB, good luck. If you're going to basic soon or anything like that, good luck as well. And I will see you guys in my next video.
Yeah, every day we live, yeah.